Okay, this is number 5 in the series on business as mission. And in this one, we're going to build on what we said 1 through 4, getting the history a bit and why there's a progression in our understanding, and also talking about the domains. And here we come down to the difficult, sensitive issue. I can't get quite the right word there. But it's the issue of domains where in business as mission, you're really working in 2 domains, and it's different, 2 different kinds of authority, very different. But if you're not careful, they get confused and combined, and then people feel that they're losing some of their freedom. And they feel at the mercy of somebody in leadership who's a boss. Okay, so we have the domain of business with its hire and fire, with its contract to say you've got to work so many hours and you get paid so much and so on. In other words, it's a contractual relationship. Over here in the body of Christ, you don't have a contractual relationship. There is no coercive or any kind of real force within the body of Christ. There's only influence. And when the church tries to summon up force, things go very, very badly. And people get really damaged. So you see why when you overlap these 2, there could be real difficulty. Let me tell you a story to illustrate. So I have a friend. I've known her for a long time. She was in YWAM for quite a while, and then went to a ministry that had quite a lot in common with YWAM, but was run on a more corporate understanding. People of wealth and power on a board, setting the strategy, making the major decisions, and hiring and firing the key people, the executives, senior leaders in the organization. So she was in a position for 7 years or so and had quarterly reviews, as a good business does, and always had 5-star reviews, and every quarter for 7 years. And at the end of 7 years, got a letter out of the blue saying, we are not renewing your contract. It's up 7 years, that was expected, but we're not renewing your contract. It was so painful because this person, this woman, was a very good leader and was a shepherd to the people in that ministry, but wasn't being shepherded by the board, was rather being hired and fired. It was transactional. And it's really hard for us to work in that sphere, or that kind of no man's land, between a leader who's a good shepherd, like in John 10, lays down his life for the sheep, and serves, and over here the boss. Now we understand this, though, that biblical principles work really well in business. And I read quite a lot of books about it. Read a book recently. I think it's outstanding, and it has some keys for us, I think, in YWAM with how we work in circles. And that's Reinventing Organizations by Frederick Laloux, L-A-L-O-U-X. Really interesting. And what I see, that a lot of it is biblical principles of the body of Christ and of unity and conflict resolution, Matthew 18, all those things together. And it illustrates what I've seen again and again, going back to so many management books, that the biblical principles, when applied in business, work really well. But biblical principles don't change the fact that you're in a transactional environment where you're supposed to do a certain amount of work for a certain amount of pay. And the better you do it, hopefully you get paid better. But it's transactional. So when my friend, who was in a church leadership atmosphere, she felt, was suddenly fired, it was very painful. And that's a risk we run when we mix the domains. I'll talk about it more in the next in this series.